You're a funny guy, Tommy. Yeah, funny how? What's funny about it? As far back as I can remember, I've wanted to be a gangster. Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut. I'm being joined in this video by my man Anthony A. Perez. We're doing a tit for tat series where we pick movies for each other that we normally would not watch. So this time I got him watching Goodfellas. I'm about to show his thoughts in a minute of what he thought about the film. So, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, if this is your first time watching this video or watching this series, the tit for tat series with me and Anthony A. Perez, check his channel out, Anthony A. Perez. He reviews movies also as well. Very cool dude, man. Great YouTube movie reviewer. And yeah, check him out, man. Anthony A. Perez. About to get to him in a second. Now, Goodfellas. I almost don't know where to begin to talk about this movie. I love this movie so much, y'all. There's really no plot to this movie. This is simply a journey. This is a character's journey, Henry Hill, and he takes the audience for a ride through the underworld, through the fucking organized crime world, okay? And he's an outsider like us, like the audience. He's an outsider because he's half Italian and half Irish. He can never be fully made. He can never be fully in a crew because he's not full Italian. So he's an outsider. So he's taking us on this ride and showing us the good, the bad, and the ugly of this world. And this is like the ultimate fucking ride, y'all. This is like better than a Universal ride, all right? Well, like what once the shit starts, it doesn't let you go until the end of the movie. So it starts out Henry and Tommy, played by I almost call him Danny DeVito, but he's short like Danny DeVito, played by Joe Pesci, and Jimmy the Gent, played by Robert De Niro. They're driving, they hear a bump in the trunk. The fuck is that? What the hell? No. What the fuck you gotta get out and see? That's my Italian accent. Get out, come to find out there's a dying man in the trunk, all bloodied and fucked up. Joe Pesci takes a knife, stabs him to death. De Niro, bah, 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 bah. Henry looks at both of them. As far back as I can remember, I've wanted to be a gangster. Boom, the moment he closes that trunk down, that's where the ride begins. What the hell is going on? Now, this movie took place in New York, mostly Long Island, and I grew up on Long Island, New York, 5 towns to be exact, and some of where this movie was shot at, I fucking grew up in. But, even though I grew up around a lot of Italians, I didn't know anything about the Mafia. Mafia didn't mean shit to me. I just knew Italians. I knew they had funny accents, they made some great fucking pizza, and they were funny as hell, and a lot of them in my neighborhood were pretty racist. So Henry Hill, from a kid to the time he's in his like late 30s, it just shows the whole mafia scene, man. And it was brilliant. Martin Scorsese directed this shit. This is Martin Scorsese's masterpiece. Alright, now he's my favorite director. Him and Spike Lee is a toss-up between Scorsese and Spike Lee. But I think I'm edging more towards Scorsese, man, because his movies are just fucking flawless, man. It's hard to point out any negatives in his films. And this here, just like Do the Right Thing, is Spike Lee's masterpiece. Goodfellas is Martin Scorsese's masterpiece, yo. Like, he knocked out the park with this shit. And I think because it's really close to home for him. Like, I feel like Scorsese's best films are the films where he cares the most about the characters and the situations like he can relate to. So growing up in Little Italy in New York, he knows about that shit. He knows about this world. He knows these people, okay? So it was easy for him to go in his hood and shoot this shit. And man, did he fucking knock out a grand slam home run with Goodfellas. So before I get into the rest of my thoughts on this shit, because I know I'm gonna ramble a little bit, this is my favorite fucking movie, so one of my favorite movies, so this review might be all over the place. But A. Perez, yo, the floor is yours. What do you think about Goodfellas?
On my boy Rashad and all of his viewers, a big thanks to you for having me in this video to talk about Goodfellas, an absolute classic in film. I think if you are a fan of mafia films, if you're a fan of film in general, if you're a fan of Martin Scorsese, this has to be one of the most iconic films of all time. Even if you've never seen this movie before, Goodfellas, that is such an iconic title. It's a household name in a lot of ways, and I think it's just one of those movies that even if you've never seen it, you've heard about it, you've at least seen a poster, or you you've at least heard about it. It's just a film that is just in everybody's mind. I think it's just one of the most iconic films of all time, coming out in 1990. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this a little short and sweet. I'm sure Rashad has already talked about the plot and a lot of the cast, but let's talk about the cast really quickly. Wow, I mean, just the leading cast alone that you see on that main poster: Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci. I mean, iconic actors and iconic roles in cinema. This is a film that without a doubt will continue to go down in history as one of the best mafia films, if not one of the just best films on an overall level. I think if you're a fan of Martin Scorsese, I think it would be surprising if this film is not near the top of your ranking of his films. It was really nice to go back and rewatch this movie. I appreciate you saying that this was gonna be the movie we were gonna review this time, one that I've actually seen. I know that we talked about with Menace to Society that I had seen it a long time ago, but Goodfellas is one that I definitely remembered, and going back and rewatching it, it was just a nice treat. It's one of those movies where going back and rewatching it, I remembered it so well, but it was nice to kind of get a fresher take on it. So what did I think about it today? It's still a great film. The performances in this film are so well done. Those three leading men in this film give an incredible performance, and they're backed by a fucking awesome supporting cast. On an overall level, this film is beautifully directed, incredibly well acted, incredibly well shot. The music, the tone, the feel, the vibe. There's very little negatives that I have about this movie when you go back and watch it. I would say the most glaring negative for me going back and watching it was something that you kind of see in a lot of Martin Scorsese films, is there's a lot of long drawn out scenes with people talking, and if you're just not into that, it can kind of seem a little bit boring. Now, it's not boring and to me, and I'm not necessarily saying that it's boring, but watching some of those sequences, it was a little slower than I remembered, but that's not even really a big negative. I just had to try to think of something to kind of give this review some balance. But without a doubt, easily one of the most iconic films in cinema history. I think if you are a fan of film, this is a film that you must see if you have not already seen it. And I'm gonna imagine that if you're a longtime fan of film, that you have seen this film. Even if you don't love this film, there's so much to respect about it on a technical level and how it's put together. And it created some of the most iconic visuals and lines and moments in all of cinema history. I love this film. I think it's a really solid film. Going back and rewatching it, I really wasn't bored. I was engaged in what was going on. I think out of all the movies that you recommended for me to do for this Tick for Tat series, I think that definitely Menace to Society and Goodfellas are two of the movies that I'm gonna probably do full-blown reviews for on my channel at some point. So a big thanks to Rashad G Reviews for having me here in this video. Appreciate it every single time. Loving doing this back and forth series. For those of you who do not already know, I'm sure Rashad has already talked about it, but if you go over to my channel, we have videos on my channel, same as his channel, where he'll appear in my videos and we'll talk about different movies. I force him to watch some Disney movies that I know that are gonna be really cheesy and I know he's not necessarily gonna love, but I love his reactions. And lately, Rashad's been giving me some really great films that I knew were gonna be great. So it's nice to go and check out some of these movies. And I love this Tit for Tat series, man. I'm loving doing this, going back and forth and showing each other movies, or just kind of going back and revisiting films like this that are iconic films in cinema history. So a big thanks to you for having me in this video, and as usual, I'll see you guys in the next one.
My man, damn. Listen, there are a few people that I know that dislike this film. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I showed her Goodfellas, and at first she was like, "Daddy, this is boring." But then when the character of Karen came into the picture, it's so funny saying that fucking name now, because I don't think nobody's gonna name their daughters Karen after this year. But when the character of Karen comes, played by Lorraine Bracco, that's when she really started taking interest in the film. And listen, all the performances, Lorraine Bracco, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, De Niro. Pesci even won an Oscar for this. He won a Best Supporting Oscar for this movie, playing Tommy DeVito, who was based off a real-life mafia dude, Tommy DeSimone, I think his name is. Real-life tough guy. Now, when you see the real Tommy was a big, burly, buff, crazy-looking motherfucker. But from people that saw the movie and people that knew the real Tommy, they said that Pesci did a 99% accurate portrayal of that person. Only difference is Joe Pesci is small, Tommy DeSimone was huge, but the mannerisms, everything about him, the temperament, nailed that shit. So you forget Pesci is 5'3" in this movie. Pesci acts like a dude that's like 6'5" and could kill you, and you believed it. His performance was so believable. Like you just knew that he was really batshit crazy and that he'd be quick to kill your ass and fuck you up. Like the scene with Spider. Okay, well, Pesci had a lot of great scenes in this movie, but the scene where he shot your boy Spider / Chris Moltisanti from The Sopranos in the foot, and then shot him again where Chris told him to go fuck himself, that's when you knew that Tommy was fucking crazy. And if you notice, a lot of times in this movie, Henry, he's looking like through the eyes of the audience, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we're the outsiders, Henry Hill's the outsider, so when Henry reacts to certain things, that's our reaction, like, holy shit. Like when Tommy shot Spider, as the crowd, we're like, what the fuck, he just shot this guy? And that's how Henry looked. So when certain things would happen, Henry's reaction is our reaction. So like I said, it's like a journey, a ride that he took us on, a fucking Universal graded Six Flags Great Adventure ride, that when the ride was over with, you're like, shit, I want to go again. But I think probably my favorite scene in the movie was the scene with Billy Batts. When Billy Batts, played by the late Frank Vincent, breaks Tommy's balls about being a shine boy back in the day, and Tommy had to kind of straighten him, like, look here, man, I don't shine shoes no more, like, I ain't that nigga no more, like, I'm a grown-ass man now. And then they kind of get into it, and what's funny about that scene is De Niro's in the background. De Niro's looking the whole time like this fucking guy's gonna get it. And when Henry had to take Tommy out, like, you know, go outside, and Tommy's all like, you know, keep that motherfucker here, keep him here. And then wait, I gotta play this shit out. So Billy Batts is like, hey, Jimmy, what's right is right. No, it's okay. Now we're over here fucking hugging and kissing and everything, and all of a sudden he's acting like a fucking jerk. No. You insulted him a little bit. You was out of line yourself. You insulted him a little bit. I didn't insult nobody. Okay. With that classic De Niro. Listen, y'all, I can go all day about this movie. So many great moments. I know as a critic, I have to give some kind of negative. I know Perez said one of the negatives for him was that sometimes the dialogue will go a little bit too long. I have to disagree, because one thing about Scorsese is he lets the actors act. He lets the characters do their thing. So even though it's an extended dialogue scene, it doesn't feel like that because they're talking so natural. Like everything about Goodfellas seemed natural. It felt like nothing about this movie was scripted or written. It's like these are real Italians talking among each other. And growing up in Long Island, New York, in the Five Towns, I can testify that that's the real fucking deal. Like that's some authentic shit. Italians really get down like that. And it's so crazy how much I love this movie and how much I love Scorsese movies. And and I have to talk about the 8,000-pound elephant in the room. Italians, well, at least the Italians in this world, in these movies, are not too fond of the brothers. If you look at like Goodfellas and Raging Bull, even The Sopranos, yeah, black people are not really thought too highly of. Like, even take Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson's in this movie for like 2 scenes. In one scene, he gets killed in his fucking tighty whities, alright? Yeah, even when bad stuff happens, the first thing they say is, hey, let me tell you something, 2 niggas just stole my truck. Can you believe that shit? For some reason, not all Italians, but a lot of Italians, they think about us like that. But like Eddie Murphy said in Raw, I'm like, damn, Italians act more nigga than niggas do, you know? Like, a lot of them that I knew and grew up with, you know, used to grab their dicks and talk shit, you know, hey, get the fuck out of here, right here. This fucking mooing y'all. He's acting like a tough guy, smack him around a little bit, bada bing, it's all fucking over with. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I don't get it. The parallels between Italian and black is so crazy. And not to mention, you know, a lot of Italian Sicilians do have some African blood, some black blood, man. I'm just saying. So it's just funny how a lot of Italians dislike black people. And one of my favorite movies is about, you know, the Italians that don't too much care for black people. Damn. What more can I say? Goodfellas is the shit. There's nothing weak about this movie. There's nothing. No, it's a fucking perfect movie. I'ma say it. This is a perfect fucking movie, man. I'ma give this shit an A+++++++. Damn, and I'm sweating because I just got done working out not too long ago, so my body's still hot. So I know I'm like sweating and shit because I'm doing that micro sheet 30-day alpha shred challenge, trying to get some fat off my ass. And yeah, it's just kicking my ass, y'all. But anyways, I had to come on here and talk about Goodfellas with you all. And yo, Perez, thank you for joining me on this video once again. Subscribe to my man channel, Anthony A. Perez. Check him out. Thank you again, homie, for being in this video with me. So what did y'all think about Goodfellas? Did you dig it? Did you not like it? Shame on you if you don't. Comment freely below. If you like and dig the content, hit that like and subscribe notification bell in the corner. Thank you all for watching. This is Rashad G signing out this motherfucker. See you in the next fucking video. No, I'm serious. If you don't like the fucking movie, you don't like the fucking movie. But at least you can hit the like and subscribe on my fucking channel. That's all I'm asking for here. All right, don't just keep scrolling and act like you're gonna watch it. Don't fucking watch it. That's like an insult. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be pushing it like that, but it's a fucking insult. Just hit the fucking like and subscribe. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, get the fuck out of here.